right. Interesting story, interesting perspective and topic that I stumbled upon. I was watching the Impulsive podcast. If you guys haven't checked that out, check it out on YouTube. Logan Paul and his buddies, Mike and George, got a great podcast. Great guest, real good entertainment. Basically, they hosted Sommer Rey onto the podcast, and they had a big, real good conversation, about her life and what she's doing and all these types of things. Very entertaining. But one of the main hot takes that occurred on the podcast was about Sommer Rey's reoccurring theme of how she kept emphasizing her integrity and her morals and ethics with how she carries herself, wanting to be a role model. And she mentioned that many times throughout the podcast, and she mentioned that many times amidst this particular topic in which the conversation came up about her doing OnlyFans. And to those who don't know what OnlyFans is, it's a pretty big booming it's not upcoming, but it's a big booming platform that people can make a lot of money and a lot of exposure, and can get a lot from them having their own profile and their own platform to portray pictures of themselves, can have some provocative pictures, and sometimes they don't always have to be that way, but for the most part the perspective and stigma is that it is pornographic. Now, Sommer Rey was always talking about how she couldn't do it based off of the stigma surrounding the platform. She says that OnlyFans is, most people know it as another site, another subscription that has qualities associated with with very obscenities and lewd nudities. That there's a strong association. She doesn't want to do that. But the hosts of the podcast made really good points as well about how you can make very big business moves and make huge impacts when it comes to their financial gain and potential exposure by having a platform such as that. But that combats the whole idea between morals and integrity. Most people sided with Sommer Rey and one of the other hosts, George, about how they said that it's something up to the person if they want to protect and maintain their morals and their pride, not wanting to do that. But on the flip side, the other two hosts, Mike and Logan, made very good points about how if she's already selling and showing pictures of herself in ways that are provocative, and it's the underlying common denominator with this whole case is that this model, Sommer Rey, made a lot of success with her provocative pictures. They're making a point that if she continues to do this, why not make more gain? Why not make more of a financial gain and get more out of what she already is doing to an extent by making an OnlyFans page? But she says that no, there's a bad stigma surrounding it. I'm not going to do it. Hold on to my morals, ethics. Boom. It's a big argument, big dispute and discussion, and it was very interesting. I see both sides. I see the light on both sides and the reasons behind both parties. Just want to get your thoughts. Just want to get everyone's thoughts on the whole situation. This OnlyFans and social media platform, people, mostly young people, millennials, are able to take advantage and make some very, very large strides when it comes to their pockets and monetary gains. It's something that's very different, and it's something that requires some important decision making when it comes to being able to do this, because nothing like this has ever been done before, and it is sending some shockwaves that is raising a lot of eyebrows for the old and new generation. In my opinion, if your goal is to be a social media influencer and someone that's putting themselves out there like that, mainly speaking on behalf of the women, because some men do it, but most women use their bodies and what they look like naturally to really put themselves out there to get some sort of attention, money, exposure, sponsorships, all this. I think this pertains more so for the woman. It depends on what their goals are growing up and what their situation is present. If someone is really, really struggling out there and they're young and they moved out and they don't have support around them, and maybe to the point of things being desperate, maybe they do need to be doing something along the lines of OnlyFans or really putting themselves out there to be an influencer. But if they have an equal road and some opportunities that they can attain through some hard work to go through a traditional route, go ahead and go through that. It's a more secure and ethical way of doing things based off of history and tradition. Again, I see both sides. I see why the old heads think that this new age of doing things is so wrong and so different, but at the same time I see the positives and the value that comes with it too. But at the end of the day, to me, it all comes down to what the individual specifically wants for themselves, with whatever morals, ethics, and anything that they have, values that they carry themselves. And the other side too is the work ethic. How hard are these people working to get their so-called bodies? How hard are they really working to maintain themselves when they're technically born that way naturally? And unless there's some serious medical condition that comes upon them, God forbid, they won't really change in terms of their appearance. Women are born naturally one way, and some are given gifts to hold a very high level of attractiveness, and they use it to their advantage, which is great. But at the end of the day, they don't work hard for it, and they're making all this money, which gets a lot of people like doctors and lawyers who work very hard to get where they're at very mad. And it's not doctors and lawyers, it could be anybody, someone doing trade, working hard, working out in the oil field for 18 hours a day, getting their checks. I can see where the opposition comes from. But it's America. Anyone can do whatever they want, get whatever opportunity they want based off of how hard they work and the routes that they take. And sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, sometimes it's sly, sometimes it's very straightforward and bold. But I do fall into the side of criticism when it comes to the models, because they don't work for what they do, in my opinion. Sure, you can have your diet, you can work out. They're not working out as hard as CrossFit trainers or maybe some high-level professional athletes to maintain their body. It's just not true with how they look. Do some legs. Hey, if you do legs enough, if you do leg workouts or any sort of resistance training that long, it really gets second nature, and the body has no choice but to grow. So when it comes to working out lower body, they're not putting in that much work. It's not athletic. Weightlifting is not an athletic sport, not an athletic activity. You repeat the same motions over and over again, you'll get results, but nothing's dynamic. Nothing is profound when it comes to weightlifting, especially when it comes to these women, female models that aren't competing. That's just the truth. Just want to get everyone's opinion. I think it's something very interesting. And yeah, let me know what y'all think.
This feeling,